It's the real deal this morning. I don't know how he slept, but I could go back to sleep. I am achy. Everything just aches. But we got to keep it moving. So where are we? Okay, we're going into we're in Clinton, Mississippi right now. We're getting ready to go into Chattanooga, Tennessee. Yeah, today. Babe, how many miles we doing today?
400.
Probably another
414, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. So another 400 and something miles to do. But the cool thing is, before we decided to do, well, before the chapter ride, I had put a little shout out in the Women of On Road Facebook group that I was coming to your area. I would be, I think we're staying 2 nights in Chattanooga.
1 night.
1 night? Okay, yeah, 1 night in Chattanooga before we had to Asheville. And so I was like, hey, since I'm gonna be in Chattanooga, Tennessee, if there are any women, of the Can-Am On Road group live in that area, hey, I'm coming. You let me know. We can meet up. And one of the ladies said, hey, I live in the area. I want to meet you. So she's coming to meet me today, this evening, once we get in the hotel, check in and have dinner and stuff. So, so that's going to be fun. And I'm excited to meet her and her husband because they live in the area. So we've been chatting and, messaging each other back and forth. She's been checking on us, make sure we good, checking out the weather and everything. So I think that's another thing to discuss, another lesson. I guess not a lesson, but just an advice. If you are going on a chapter ride in any other state, to any other state, and you are a woman that rides a Can-Am Spyder, give you girls a shout out and say, hey, I'm coming to your area. I would love to meet you, because we all help each other out on Facebook. We all discuss topics. We're all supportive of one another in the group. But it's so cool to get the opportunity to actually meet each other face to face. Give each other a hug and a high five and a God bless you and, all that good stuff. So I'm excited to meet her and her husband later today. I pray that everything works out and we can meet up. But she messaged me yesterday and said, hey, so sweet. Hey, there's a Walmart at exit 11. The hotel is at exit 14. There's a Harley Davidson dealership at exit 17, because I am riding with some hogs and they got to stop at some dealerships. Would have been nice if she could have said, hey, there's a Can-Am at exit 11, and if you go there you can get your Can-Am coin and take a picture with your So anyway, but she was just so helpful in giving us all this information on, where everything was and, where the restaurants were. Although our chapter, baby, I'm going to talk about them when we get back. But these, oh my gosh. Like I said before, if you're going to do this, make sure you do it with people that know what they're doing. So anyway, I'm getting ready to get up and get loaded and get some coffee, and we're gonna see what the day look like. But I know it's gonna be a good day, even though I dropped my showy helmet and messed up my visor. It's a lesson. We're gonna talk about it. I'm very disappointed, but I'm gonna stay in faith. Anyway, good morning. Desmond, you gonna say good morning?
Good morning.
Anyway, love y'all. Stay tuned.
I bring you water, or you want to leave it?
You can bring it. That way I can stick it on the bike.
Really, you are an influence.
I thought you knew that.
How's your coffee?
It was good. It was good. Ready to see what this day gonna bring.
It's gonna bring goodness.
For some of y'all. But for me,
You don't know.
my view is distorted.
Well, you can look for the good, or you can stare at the bad.
That's true. That's true.
I'll let you figure that one out.
That's true. I could look for the good, or I could look for the bad.
No, stare at the bad.
Stare at the bad?
You can look for the good.
I can look for the good or
You can
stare
at the bad.
Come on. Come on. That's gonna preach. Get you giving me a word this morning.
Okay.
You can stare at the bad.
Well, what you be staring at is that smudge right in front of your face, right?
You can look for the good or stare at the bad.
Exit.
That is a word. You could look for the good or stare at the bad. I think I'm going to put that as a topic. Come on, Jesus. This man, that's why I married him. Please don't let any more of my stuff fall. Just stick that in. Thank you.
When you get a chance, look under your seat, wipe that off. There's the gas.
Oh, right. Ooh.
That's just dirt.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yesterday we went to get gas, and the shutoff valve for the gas didn't work. So gas just started pouring all spilling over everywhere. I wiped most of it up with this little towel right here, but you can see right there. Man. Anyway, let's get loaded up. Now I'm just gonna be honest. I tried to look for the good and not stare at the bad. But when I pulled my helmet down and started looking through my visor, all I could see was that blemish. And it just vexed the hell out of me. God forgive me for using that word, but it just did. And I was so thrown off. I was just so discombobulated. I forgot to strap up my jacket, zip up my jacket. I forgot to put my gloves on, to Velcro them up. I was just all discombobulated. I forgot to turn my Cena on. I was just thrown off because of the visor. And I tried, Lord knows I tried to muster up the faith to just, okay, you know what? I'm going to look for the good. It's going to be okay. But it was not working for me. It was the frustration. It was bad for me that morning leaving out. And so being contrary and being a Taurus woman, I said, you know what? I forget it. I am just going to ride with my visor up. That's it. I'm done. I'm just going to ride with my visor up so I can see, because every time I put it down, I'm looking through this mess and it's just vexing the hell out of me. So you know what? I'm just going to leave my visor up. Let me fix my jacket. Let me get everything organized and I'll be good. And you can see my husband looking at me like, this woman, Lord knows, she's so freaking hard-headed. But she'll figure it out. I mean, it was, y'all. I am normally not this scattered in the morning on a ride, and that's the last thing you want to do when you are getting on a bike, getting ready to ride the miles that we had to ride that day. 400, and I think he said 417, something like that. But here we go. Me and my stubbornness, I'm going to ride 400 miles with my visor up. So we got started out on the ride. And I'm going to be honest, all I could think about, all I could focus on was the fact that everything I had dreamed I wanted this trip to be was now ruined because I dropped my visor. I could feel the anxiety and the anger rising up in my heart as we started to get on the interstate. And I'm not going to lie, I had made up in my mind that I was going to ride 400 plus miles with my visor up. But, I thought about the fact that the day before, a cicada hit me coming through Mississippi and kind of jarred my head a little bit. So, yeah, your girl put the visor down. But I'm not going to lie, my vision was distorted. But here's where I wouldn't trade anything for my journey that I'm on now. Because even in my foolishness of attempting to ride 400 plus miles with my visor up, the Spirit of God in His loving kindness spoke to my foolish heart. Are you going to focus on your reality, or are you going to look towards me? Confirming what my husband said in the elevator to me that morning as we were packing up to leave the hotel. You see, God always confirms His word. And just then, my eyes started to tear up because I knew what I was allowing to happen. I was letting the visor distract me from what God wanted me to achieve on this ride. I was allowing that spot, that blemish, to diminish everything that had got me to this very moment. This is why I love riding Can-Am Spyders. It's a wonderful and uplifting recreational moto activity. When combined with your faith, it can help you discover your true self through Christ. Because we were created to be conquerors, victors, not victims. And I understand that this might sound strange to those of you who don't know Christ, but I can't explain it any better than I'm trying to in this beautiful moment of this adventure. All I know is, like Mary from the movie The Chosen, when asked, "Who did this? Who healed you?" And she replied, "All I know is I was one way and now I'm completely different. And the thing that happened in between that was Him." In my case, how I was able to complete this 10-day vacation ride with my visor so messed up in the center of my vision. 1 minute it was blurry, and now it's completely clear. And the thing that happened in between was my faith in Him. You see, everything is made clear when we focus on Him. Now, don't think the devil was letting us off the hook, because here was some highway foolishness, a little road rage accident going on in front of us, but thank God we have excellent road captains that called it out as soon as he saw what was going on and gave us time to react to it. This is why riding with people that know what they're doing is so vital. And understanding, the culture that you're riding with, and understanding, how to operate your cenas. Because in our particular chapter, and when we're riding in groups like this, the only communication that's going on is the lead and the sweep. Everyone in between, we're on mute, as Beyonce would call it. We're on mute. and we can hear what was going on, but all the extra chatter, they do not want to hear any of that, because they want to be able to communicate when something is happening in the front of them or something is going on behind them. And our road captains for our chapter do a phenomenal job of leading us on chapter rides, be it over the weekend or on these long vacation rides going state to state. So as you can see, the day was heating up again, and I had to pull out my vest, but we were on a little break and meeting up with one of the other groups in our chapter because there was an issue on the interstate. You guessed it, more traffic and construction. And so the construction or the traffic jam that they were looking at on their communication devices was really bad, and it was going to have us sitting in traffic for at least an hour and a half. And so, like I said before, when you're on these motorcycles, you do not want to be sitting on the interstate in heat. So we took a little break to get our bearings together and to let our road captains figure out a new route.
Well, we're down there, really. And then all you got to do is go up, because here's the hotel right here. And we just need to get you here. So we could just.
The only thing that I'm saying again, I don't know what's going to happen. But as soon as we start heading north, our lane shut down.
No, not. I'm talking about not now.
Oh, go that way. Let's do it. Yeah. We get back on the freeway, we're gonna hit traffic right away. It's shut down just north.
Let's get on this one.
Get back down to Fort Payne and
See this?
that'd be perfect for Carolyn, because she's already said this. Like, are we just making big loops? Like, yes. And guess what? We're gonna be doing it.
So our road captains came up with a brilliant plan to take the scenic route to the hotel, and hopefully we wouldn't run into any issues. But the scenic route that they planned took us through Georgia like maybe 4 times. We went through different parts of I must have seen Welcome to Georgia sign like 4 times. But it was nice. We had a beautiful scenic ride through some lakes, around some lakes, and just beautiful areas, mountains and valleys, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And it was really cool getting to ride with the other group. It's beautiful seeing all of us ride together, taking curves together. It's just phenomenal watching our chapter in action. And I'm telling you, when you are riding with experienced riders who know what they are doing, it is a beautiful symphony. It's just like, the bike and the people that's riding them, and the road is a beautiful dance. It just flows. And I'm so blessed and honored that we get to ride with this chapter. I hear a lot of horror stories about, Can-Am Spyders not being welcomed into other motorcycle groups or chapters where, 2-wheel bikes are involved in them. And I just don't know that experience. Thank God. I ride with people that are they're different. They're different. And I mean different by they have a heart to teach, to mentor, to encourage, to inspire. They want to see you do your best, ride your best ride. They are all about teaching you how to do this, with safety being the most important skill ever. Like I said, and someone had mentioned to me, because we got to talking on the YouTube channel about, riding in chapters, riding with Can-Am Spyder groups, and then riding with 2-wheel groups. And, and I mentioned, the culture of our group, we have grandmothers, and we have doctors, and we have, engineers, and we have mothers, and we have, flight pilots, people that fly airplanes and everything in our chapter. And so the guy mentioned, well, I don't care about, people's, what they do and all of this stuff, but it matters. It matters what a person does, because what they do in their profession tends to carry over into the skills that they learn or have to apply when they're doing other things. Okay. I know for myself as a baker and as someone that has done music professionally, those skills that I have learned in how to deal with minor details when you're baking for someone, making sure the ingredients and everything is just right, how to handle God's people when you're talking with them and being gentle with them. All of those tools that I've learned apply to me, running this YouTube channel and meeting people on the road and meeting different people on the road, people that don't look like me, people that don't, have the same background as I do, and so I take all of what I know and have been learning to do, and I apply all those skills to me riding my bike, and it just makes me a better, gentle rider when it comes to riding the open road. Okay. And so, for my chapter, we ride with people that actually fly airlines. They fly, they're pilots. And so they take what they know as pilots, and when we're on rides with them, they run that ride just like, okay, passengers, we're getting ready to take off. Please put your gear, make sure your kickstands are up. And it's hilarious. But, they take those skills that they know in their everyday job and they apply it to riding on the open road. And so as far as I'm concerned, yes, it matters what you do, because if you have a gentle heart, it's going to follow through and it's going to translate to you riding on the open road. And, like I said, they have embraced me as someone who has chosen to ride a Can-Am Spyder, 3 wheels. They don't make fun of me. They don't tease me. They don't shame me. When I got in the chapter, we had the little usual jokes of, okay, can you keep up? And I did not keep up. Because I didn't understand my bike. I didn't understand what it could do. I had yet to determine if this was something that I was capable of doing. But riding with this chapter gave me the skills and the confidence to do that. And I can tell anybody, and I'm just going to be honest, I have learned to ride my Can-Am Spyder riding with these 2-wheel Harley Davidson riders. They taught me a tremendous amount of how to ride my 3-wheel bike following them, riding with them on chapter rides during the weekday, going with them on vacation rides. I didn't know the capability that my bike had until I rode the 3 sisters in the hill country, going up these curves and mountains. And again, it helped me prepare for riding the tail of the dragon. And so when you get with a good chapter and you open your heart to receive the wisdom and knowledge and understanding that they can teach you, and you put aside all of your ego, you put aside all of the racism, and you put aside all of the stuff that keeps you from being godlike, that keeps you from having eyes with grace, I'm telling you, you will learn a lot, and you will be able to grow in your relationship with Christ. You will be able to grow in your skills as a rider. And I'm telling you, it is the best feeling in the world once you open up your heart to receive all the possibilities that God has for you in riding on the open road. And so that's just a little tidbit of riding with my chapter. But enough about that. Let's get through this ride. So after our lovely tour around the couple of lakes 4 times through Georgia, we finally were able to get back on the interstate and bypass all the traffic and construction for the most part. And, I usually get dings on my phone when someone subscribes to the channel or comment. And so as we were riding, before we got back on the interstate, and we took our break and all that stuff, I got a little ding on my phone, and someone had made a comment on the video that I posted a while back, the 4 tips of riding on the interstate. And this beautiful soul, this EGR, I call them EGRs, and the EGR is a person where extra grace is required. So that's their names, EGRs, because extra grace is required. But this beautiful soul had this to say: this lady does not have enough experience on the highway. Listen to her and you will end up a dead Can-Am rider. And his comment couldn't come at a better time, as I'm riding through 9 states, totally all interstate, with the baddest motorcycle chapter in the United States. Listen, if you let all of the haters rent space in your rides, in your mind, and in whatever God has your hands to do, baby, you won't do one thing. And so, bless his heart, y'all. Bless his heart. And I know my husband is going to look at me with a monkey side eye and say, LaShawn, I told you don't have to kick every barking dog. But look, y'all, sometimes you gotta let them know who team you on. You gotta let them know who you rocking with. And baby, it is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ who has strengthened me to get out here on the road and to fight the good fight of faith, to suppress all of my fears and to do this. And so you know what? It's this moment right here that makes his comment obsolete. When my Win sister looks at me with tears in her eyes and say, LaShawn, you did so well. She was so excited for me. She's wiping away tears, y'all. You can listen. Don't y'all let them devils out there get in your head and steal your joy, because they will try. But we just gonna leave that little EGR where he is. And I will say this, I did pray for him, because it's easy to sit on the sideline or even ride on the open road with that kind of spirit on your heart, to sit and watch what someone else is doing and to make a comment like that, when it is obviously blessing thousands, if not more than that, women, because that's what this is geared towards. Women who have decided to cast their cares to the wind and to move forward in their faith, realizing that fear is false evidence appearing real. Women who have decided that they want to get on the open road and ride their ride, which is Can-Am Spyders or Rikers. And so this is why this channel and what God has put on my heart to do is so vital and so important, because I want women of all races, all ages, all backgrounds to know that if I can do it, surely you can do it too. Listen, fear will keep you from moving forward and often paralyzing you and keeping you on the sidelines. But I'm here to tell you that you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. It may be a little draining and it may be a little tough, but you can do it. And the highlight of day 2 was meeting this beautiful soul. Listen, this, I got goosebumps. This is a fellow Win sister from Chattanooga, Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Tracy Mitchell.
Okay. She is on the Women of On Road Facebook page. This is my Win sister. We sisters, okay? And when I said that I was coming her way, I said to all y'all that live in the area that I was coming. This soul right here, this beautiful soul, reached out to me, and we've been chit-chatting and talking, and she came over to see us at the hotel because I am in her city, and she came to see me, and man, listen, y'all, this is what the Can-Am Women of On Road group is all about, fellowship and Win sisters. If you are traveling to any other city, state, country, reach out to your fellow Win sisters on the Facebook page and let them know you're coming, and hook up with them, link up. This will forever be my Win sister. Look, her husband even came to meet my husband. Look at God, okay? Look at God. And she brought us some goodies because they're all made here in her home state. Y'all, Miss Tracy, you want to say something to everybody?
I'm just so happy to have met you. We've been looking forward to you coming up. We've been tracking you. I'm just tickled that you're here, in the volunteer state, and I want you to feel welcome. And feel free to come. And next time you come, we'll roll up into the Smokies.
Come on.
Yep, we'll make it a point to roll up into the Smokies.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. Okay. Hey, look. This is a God ordained thing right here. Okay, because something in her heart made her say, "Look, hey, I'm coming. Yeah, I'll be there. I want to meet you." And she gave me her number. I gave her mine, and we've been connecting. I'm telling y'all, this is beautiful, and that's what this group is about and should be about. So connect with your sisters if you're riding through their home states, okay? Because this is now my girl, okay? This is my win sister right here. She was my win sister. She my sister now, okay? All right? So God bless y'all. And look, y'all know what I always say. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And it is because of that I and my sister Tracy can ride the good ride of faith. We love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Like I said, I knew that there was a lesson in this day. You see, we rode many miles to get to our destination for the second day. But I'll tell you something. In the face of overwhelming obstacles, be reminded that your strength doesn't come from your own capabilities, but they come from God. And I can tell you, just like my husband told me earlier that morning before we started out, you could look for the good or you could stare at the bad. And so I chose to finally look for the good. And when I did, that blemish in my visor was not there anymore. And I was able to focus on all the things that God was doing in this ride. My first vacation chapter ride with our chapter. You see, it took many, many, many rides for me to build up the courage and the confidence to say that I want to do this. And in spite of all the health challenges, dealing with the heat and everything, somehow the Spirit of God allowed me to muster up the strength and the courage to go on this ride. And I was about to blow it, focused on dropping my visor. You see, that's what the enemy tried to do. He wanted me to get fixated, focus on the fact that I dropped my visor, and when it did fall, it left this big dark blemish right in the center of my visor, where everything was just distorted. And I was so focused on that, I couldn't settle into the fact of what God had did for me by taking me on this journey, giving us the opportunity for me to finally travel this far with our chapter. And so I just want to encourage you, focus on the things that bring you joy and don't get fixated on the things that happen bad along the way. Don't look for the perfect ride, which is what I was doing. Look to the author and finisher of your faith. Because you see, I wanted everything to be perfect. But God, He didn't want me to focus on the perfect ride. He wanted me to focus on what I was accomplishing. And right here is the example. My fellow win sister from our chapter encouraging me to the point where she had tears in her eyes. Man, I can't express enough the things that God did for me on this chapter ride, putting me with this group of people at this season to ride this ride with our chapter. It was an appointed time. It was an appointed ride. And I'm so blessed and honored that I was able to accomplish, out of the 10 days thus far, at least 2 under my belt that I could say, well done. And I could be proud of myself. It started out a little rough with the dropping of the visor, but God. And I thank God for the blessing of knowing that everything, no matter how it starts, everything will always work out for our good and for His glory. And so here we are arriving at day 2 destination to rest and finally get off these bikes. And let me tell you something, I was ready. It was a long day. It was stressful. Dealing with that traffic coming into Chattanooga was just unreal. But we did it, and we made it safe. Thank you, God. And the lesson from this adventure, if I had stayed focused on this, I would not have been able to enjoy this. Or wrap my mind around this. Slaying a dragon.